Cold War II is here! Russia and China are forming an alliance against the free world, and Antarctica is the newest front. Welcome to America Uncovered. I'm Chris Chappell. This episode is sponsored by Magic Spoon. It's delicious and healthy, and you can eat it anytime, even while on camera. It's low in carbs, high in protein, perfect for helping me uncover America. I'll tell you more at the end. So, there's no longer any doubt we are in a new Cold War, with Russia's invasion of Ukraine and China's frequent threats to Taiwan. There is an authoritarian axis of power that is seeking to undermine the free world, and the U.S. is woefully unprepared. Look no further than Antarctica, because you can't really look further than that. Russia and China see it as the next front of the Cold War. Don't you hate it when people take things too literally? Now, I'm guessing you don't spend a lot of time thinking about Antarctica, unless you're Greta Thunberg, or polar bears wishing they could visit the South Pole to get in on all those delicious penguins. In either case, thank you for watching. But Antarctica is actually vital to the national security of the United States. First of all, Antarctica has vast untapped resources, like mineral deposits. There are also 500 billion tons of oil and 300 to 500 billion tons of natural gas on the continent, plus more in the Southern Ocean. China and Russia would love to get their hands on that. China would also love access to all the fish around Antarctica, which could feed millions of people. But the greatest untapped potential in Antarctica is its strategic military value. And I'm not talking about strapping rockets to penguins like in Batman Returns, although I'm sure Putin hasn't ruled that out. But all that oil, minerals, fish, and military potential remain untapped because of the Antarctic Treaty. The treaty stipulates that all territorial claims be suspended, the region to remain demilitarized and nuclear-free, and the primary goal is for cooperative scientific exploration. Exploitation of marine and mineral resources are also banned. But you know who's really great at honoring international treaties? China and Russia. China and Russia are about as honest as Kurt Cobain when he sang, "I swear that I don't have a gun." As The Atlantic says, in practice, with no technical ruling government or permanent human colonies beyond scientists and support staff, sovereignty on the continent is murky. And Russia and China are talking a lot about it. Russia's 2021 national security strategy explicitly mentions Antarctica, calling it a strategic priority. The RAND Corporation says it's an extension of Russia's buildup of its military and economic capabilities in the Arctic. If Russia does invade Antarctica, I assume Putin will say he only did it because he was trying to de-Nazify all the elephant seals. Chinese leader Xi Jinping has said China wants to protect and exploit the Antarctic. Protect and exploit? Great, he wants to treat an entire continent like it was a child actor. At least protect and exploit is what he said in Chinese. In official English translations by Chinese state-run media, it was purposefully mistranslated as protect and explore Antarctica. So what has the U.S. said about Antarctica? Next to nothing. The U.S. can barely even get around Antarctica. You know how many icebreaker ships the U.S. has? 2. America has more Batmen than we do icebreaker ships, which is especially sad since 2 of these aren't even American. Meanwhile, Russia and China are building nuclear-powered icebreakers. So will the Antarctic Treaty protect the U.S. as the new Cold War heats up? More after the break. Welcome back. The Cold War is already being fought in Antarctica through tactics called gray zone warfare. Here's how the Center for International and Strategic Studies describes it.
Competitors are contesting the rules of the international system and U.S. leadership. They're finding avenues for threatening U.S. interests without triggering escalation. Their coercive tools range from disinformation and online troll farms to terrorist financing and paramilitary provocations. Such approaches lie in the contested arena somewhere between routine statecraft and open warfare. the gray zone.
So essentially, it's like when you were a kid and your bully would say, "I'm not touching you, I'm not touching you," while paying terrorists who may or may not attack you. I went to a rough school. Russia and China are masters of gray zone warfare. For example, China's routine harassment of Taiwan, or what Russia was doing to Ukraine before the actual full-on invasion. And the problem is, the Antarctic Treaty was not crafted in a time of gray zone warfare and does not consider conflict below the threshold of war in its military prohibitions. And Russia and China are taking advantage of it. For example, the treaty does not explicitly explain what it means to conduct activities for peaceful purposes and science. If China sends its military to Antarctica for disaster relief, that's technically fine. And then there's the problem of dual-use technology. Technology that can have peaceful civilian or scientific use, but can also be used by the military. Got drones? Just say it's for science. Got lasers? Again, science. Unleashing Lovecraftian horrors buried in the ice? Science. Rockets strapped to penguins? That's actually not science. It's art. Russia and China can get away with a lot of things by using the science card. Let's first look at Russia. According to a professor at the Russian Academy of Science, Antarctic scientific stations are now becoming tools of geopolitics. How? By helping Russia advance its space programs. Antarctica is an ideal location for space observation because of its atmospheric conditions. A lot of international astrological research takes place there, but Russia is currently working on deploying a ground-based complex for GLONASS, Russia's satellite navigation system. It's basically Russia's version of GPS. But some are also concerned about its intelligence gathering potential. Because you just know if Russia has a telescope, they're going to use it to spy on everyone. That's not all. Some intelligence suggests Russia is trying to secretly install anti-satellite electronic warfare technology in Antarctica. If this is true, it would be the first step toward militarization in Antarctica and a clear violation of the Antarctic Treaty. And if you thought that was bad, wait till you hear what China is doing. I'll tell you after this quick commercial break. Welcome back. Arguably, the biggest threat in Antarctica is China. And not just because they're planning on putting orcas in forced labor camps. Can't call them sweatshops since no one sweats in Antarctica. Although it has no formal claim on the region, the Chinese government currently spends more than any other Antarctic state on new infrastructure, such as bases, planes, and icebreakers. The Chinese Communist Party has also been getting bolder. It's gotten to the point that China has conducted undeclared military activities in Antarctica, is building up a case for a territorial claim, and is engaging in minerals exploration there. It won't be long before John Cena apologizes to China for referring to Antarctica as its own sovereign continent. Now all of that is in direct violation of the Antarctic Treaty, but China is facing absolutely zero consequences. China is also deploying its own satellite network in Antarctica, Beidou 2. Beidou is like the Chinese version of GPS, but it's not just for finding directions, it's also crucial for missile targeting and timing. Installing it in Antarctica could increase China's missile tracking capabilities. If the ground stations include infrared telescopes, then this could also give China an edge on detecting enemy satellites, drones, and missile launches. Given that both China and Russia have hypersonic missiles, this is especially concerning for the US. If we were prepared enough to actually know this is something that should be concerning us. But here's the problem. What do you do about Russia and China's actions? Well, you could tighten restrictions on what's allowed in Antarctica, but even if there were tighter restrictions in Antarctica, Chinese and Russian actions elsewhere indicate their willingness to deviate from international laws, rules, and norms. So they wouldn't necessarily stop what they're doing. And like I said earlier, the US is not taking this seriously enough. But you know who is? Australia. And not by trying to melt Antarctica when their entire country was on fire 2 years ago, although that was a solid strategy. Australia is a major power in the Antarctic that unofficially claims 42% of the continent. They just pledged $800 million to ensure Antarctica is free from conflict. This includes millions of dollars on drones, helicopters, and other vehicles for Antarctica research and surveillance. On top of that, Australia is spending $1 billion on an Antarctic drone system. So it sounds like it's not just Russia and China building up their military potential for science. From now on, whenever someone says trust the science, you'd better do it, because they might actually be talking about tanks. According to experts, this clearly signals Australia's move into the gray zone of dual-use technologies. China is obviously not happy about this. They say Australia is showing hostility toward China. Yeah, if anyone is going to militarize Antarctica, it's going to be China and Russia. But clearly, nowhere in the world is safe from being drawn into Cold War II. Not even the North Pole, since China and Russia are definitely going to want to get in on the technology that allows supersonic flight and spy equipment that shows everyone on Earth who's being naughty and nice. And this episode is sponsored by Magic Spoon. If you're trying to cut down on carbs or get all that sugar out of your diet, check out Magic Spoon. It's got 0 grams of sugar, 13 to 14 grams of protein, and only 4 net grams of carbs in each serving. Plus, it tastes really good. I love this frosted flavor. There's also a bunch of other ones I like fruity, cocoa, and peanut butter. So if you're like me and you're trying to focus on healthy foods in your diet, check out Magic Spoon. It's got a perfect balance of being healthy and super delicious. And I've got a special link for you guys below the video. You can build your own 4-pack of Magic Spoon flavors and get $5 off. The Magic Spoon ships in the US and also to Canada and the UK. Plus, Magic Spoon is so confident in their product, it's backed with a 100% happiness guarantee. So if you don't like it for any reason, they'll refund your money, no questions asked. So, click the link below and get your Magic Spoon now. Once again, I'm Chris Chappell. Thanks for watching America Uncovered.